Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to work into a little bit of therapeutic yoga, working into the TMJ, into the sternocleidomastoid, and into the back of the shoulders, into the traps, and into the muscles all around the neck and the upper shoulders. Many people carry tension in this area. Most of us work from computers or spend all day on our phones. And over lockdown, I feel like we're spending more and more time utilizing computers, whereas before we'd be going to a yoga studio, and now we're working from our phones and our computers. So all of this is playing a role into creating tension in this space. So we're going to work into this area. Try and stay very mindful of what's happening into the throat, the back of the neck, and the upper shoulders in all of your poses today. And in each pose, see if you can try and correct the alignment, so that the back of the skull is lining up with the base of the tailbone. And then that's going to create a stacking of the vertebrae into its correct curvature, allowing for softness. We're going to start with your rolled up mat or your rolled up towel. And it doesn't have to be particularly thick. Rolling it up and then placing it so that it's about a third away from the top of your mat, coming to lie onto your back. And you want your mat to be just under the shoulder blades, so that you can bring your head comfortably to the floor. The arms are above the mat or the towel, and so you're getting an opening into the upper thoracic and the upper chest. You can bring the hands out to the sides, and then the feet can be in a couple of different positions. You can have them into a konasana, like I have, with the feet together and the knees wide, or you can have them into a restorative position with the feet wide and the knees together. That's a little bit less intense into the lower back and the inner thighs. So choosing a space that feels good for you. Let's close the eyes here. Start to connect into your breath. And after a few rounds of breath awareness, start to work into a 3-part breath. Lifting belly, ribs, chest, ribs, and belly. And you'll find that with the addition of the prop underneath the upper back, you're getting a real sense of opening across the chest. Relax the shoulders down so there's no tension being created into the neck. If you find this is too intense and the body's not going to manage to hold here comfortably, then you can always move the prop away and lie flat on your back. Every inhale, bring a sense of softening in. And with every exhale, releasing tension. Taking one more round of breath. And then if the knees are wide, you're going to draw them together. If the feet are wide, you're going to draw them together. So you're bringing ankles and knees together. Rolling onto your side, and then moving your towel or your mat. Place it nearby. We'll come to the mat at a later stage. And then lying flat onto the back. So you might want to lift your tailbone and slightly curl into the lower back to place the lower back to the mat nice and flat. We're going to take both knees into the chest and then squeeze the knees down on your exhale breath, trying to remove all of the space into the lower belly. At the same time, flatten the back against the mat. On your next exhale breath, lift your forehead to your knees. Make sure you're tucking your chin into your chest, and we're rounding into the back here. Curl the tailbone up and lift the lower back off the floor into a little ball. And then inhale to release down, lower back flat, back of the skull flat. And coming into a second round, exhale into a little ball, tuck the chin to the chest, maybe work your hands down your shins a bit more, lift your lower back off the mat, curl that tailbone, and then inhale to release, flattening the skull, flattening the lower back. Let's lift up one more time, exhale, curling in. Really tuck the chin to the chest and feel how the upper back is extending here. Try not to bring the tension into the neck. And then releasing back down to the floor. Rocking from side to side to massage out the spine. And then you're going to make your way to sit. So you can either roll onto your side to sit, or you can rock up and down like a ball. Remember to really round your back if you are rocking. And you only rock as far as the shoulder blades, not onto the neck. It's going to be quite nice to massage out the spine and gently awaken the back. Come up to sit. You can sit on your rolled up mat if your hips are particularly tight. A little bit of height in the hips can go a long way to creating release. We're going to work into some nice big shoulder rolls. So as you inhale, you roll the shoulders in one direction. And as you lift and lower the shoulders, you want to create a nice big flowing movement, but no tension. Sometimes when we lift, we create tension in that neck and we're squeezing everything in. See if you can get the shoulders to roll, but still focus on that softening and opening of the throat. So especially down into the sternocleidomastoid on the side of the throat. Let's change the direction of the roll, other way around. And again, keep working on the softening of the neck as you roll, the opening of the chest, and then the counter opening of the back. And then coming to sit into a neutral position. Taking this into a TMJ activation, you're going to take your fist, keep your fist soft and place it into the side of your jaw. And now start to press your face against the fist, so you're creating a bit of resistance there. You'll feel how the opposite neck muscle is going to engage. And now soften the bottom jaw so that the teeth are separate, and push your bottom jaw against your fist. Just for 1 or 2 breaths, and then release. Taking it to the other side now, a fairly soft fist, and press the face against the fist, relax the bottom jaw, and then push the jaw into the fist. 1 or 2 breaths only, and then release. Let's exhale to bring the chin down to the chest. Allow the back to soften as much as you can, and let your head become quite heavy, hanging down, drawing the shoulder blades slightly away from the ears. You're now going to reach the fingers out to the sides, floating the fingers off the floor, and then slowly start to move the hands back. So they're still floating off the mat, moving slowly. You'll feel at a point where you're starting to get the best stretch into your neck. Pause when you find that space, and then continue to bring the hands a little bit further back. Notice the shift of the activation here. And then keeping the fingers back, lightly place them onto the floor, very soft, and start to roll forward, bringing the crown of the head down to the earth. As you lightly reach your fingers back behind you. And you just go as far as you can naturally go without forcing the fold. Anchoring into the fingers behind you so the shoulders are moving away from the ears and the crown of the head is moving towards the earth. From here, completely flop and bring the hands in front. Elbows may touch the floor, they may just bend in towards the body, either way is fine. Start to roll yourself back up to center, lifting that spine up tall, and again, check that the back of the skull is engaging with the back of the tailbone, so you're in your neutral curvature. Let's float the arms out to the sides, and then bring the hands lightly behind the skull, so they're not interlocking, the fingertips are just lightly touching together. On your inhale, start to push the elbows wider, and then push your head into your fingertips without letting the chin lift up too much. You're going to feel activation into the muscles either side of the spine, down the back of the body. Relax gently here, so you're back into your neutral. And now turn your gaze over one hand and start to push your head again into that hand, feeling the activation into the upper back and the one side of the neck. Relax, coming back to center, make sure you're in neutral. Turn the gaze the other way, and then lightly push the head against that hand, resisting the hand against the head. Notice how the activation has shifted. Relax, and coming back to center. Release the hands back down, and then placing the hands to the knees. And again, just very gentle little shoulder rolls. Not too big this time, we're looking rather to soften into the rotator cuff, soften into the traps, changing the direction the way round. Let's come over onto hands and knees. So bringing your hands under your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Point or tuck the toes, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And flowing now through cat-cow pose. So as you inhale, you drop the belly, lifting the face and hips. As you exhale, you're rounding into the back. And you should feel how the upper back is fairly open already. It's a bit warmer into the upper body. So imagine that you're taking that warmth and you're now spreading it into the middle back, spreading it further into the lower back, and then spreading it right down into the pelvis. And with your perceived sense of warmth comes a releasing and a relaxing of the muscles, the softening of the fascia, and then coming back into your neutral spine. We're going to bring the right fingertips forward, the left toes back. You may want to hold here, activating into lower belly, or maybe you're happy to float the hand and the leg up off the mat. Reach your head forward, reach your tailbone back, and engage into lower belly. Try to become soft into your hand and your knee. Taking this into a tiger curl now, bring the knee and the elbow to meet, rounding the back, tuck the chin to the chest. And then you're going to inhale, keep the knee and the elbow bent, and reach your hand towards your toes towards your hand. Exhale to curl in, and inhale to lift. So lift the elbow, and you're going to really feel how that upper shoulder has got to activate there. Remember to move with how the body is responding to the pose. If your body is saying ease off, then please ease off. If it's saying I've got a bit more space, then utilize that space. One more. And then inhale, extend, and exhale to release. Let's take it to the other side. So now you're going to bring left fingers and right toes back. You may want to hold here or float up into balance. Lengthen the body from finger to heel, from crown to tail. Let's come into tiger curl, knee and elbow in. On the exhale, keep it bent as you lift the elbow, lift the knee on the inhale. Be mindful of what's happening with your neck. You want to keep the neck extending. So focus on the alignment of the curvature of the neck. Obviously, this is not into natural curvature. It's extreme extension and flexion. But move into those alignments with awareness. One more. And then inhale to extend and exhale to release. Open the knees quite wide and sit your hips down towards your heels. You're now going to walk your fingertips, coming onto the fingertips, and then creepy crawly the fingers a little bit further. And as you do that, try to undulate and soften into the spine, allowing the hips to gently move in the opposite direction. Drop your head down when you are ready to do so. Make sure the neck feels soft, and then feel this cross fiber pull. Hips one way, fingers the other way. The neck is in a neutral space, and I'll see if you can broaden the shoulder blades by turning the biceps up towards the sky a little bit. On your next exhale, completely soften, drop your elbows, round the back, release into the restorativeness of the pose. And then from here, you're going to make your way into downward facing dog. So start with the knees bent, the hips up and back. Been working quite intensely into the upper back and shoulders, so the down dog might feel a bit lighter than normal in your upper back. Start to sink one heel to the floor, and then the other heel, walking the dog out. But don't forget to create that softness in your neck and shoulders. Shift the energy out of the neck, out of the arms, and into the legs. Let's release both heels down, and then make your way to the front of the mat, into flat back. Open up through the heart center, hands can come to the shins. And exhale to forward fold. Hold onto opposite elbows, bend your knees, and gently sway from side to side. The relaxing of the upper body here is very palatable. You can really feel the release and relaxation in your ragdoll. Coming to center, drop the hands, let's roll up, keep the chin tucked to the chest, keep the knees bent, and then use the power in the legs to unwind your spine. Coming up to stand into Tadasana. Let's stand at the front of your mat. Bringing the hands next to the hips. Engage firmly into your thighs. Let's inhale, float the arms up. And exhale to forward folds. Strong through the torso. Lightly holding the back of the ankles and reaching your head to the earth. Undulate the spine, lifting up into a flat back. And then exhale to step the right leg back into lunge. Sink your hips nice and low as you lift open through the heart. You're going to drop the back knee down to the floor, and then inhale, hands up together at the heart. Slide the hips down a little bit deeper. Let's twist to your left, so rotating to the left, pressing that left elbow back. Inhale to the center, and then rotating to the right, pressing the right elbow back. Inhale to the center, release the hands down to the floor. You're going to slide your front knee back so that you're in a tabletop, hands under shoulders. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Tucking toes and lifting up, downward facing dog. Breathe into the space, soften that neck, soften the shoulders, and engage your legs. Looking between the hands, little steps, walking to the front of the mat. Nice and strong in your flat back, hands can come to the shins or the floor. Exhale to forward fold, hands behind the ankles. And then floating arms all the way up. Exhaling hands to heart. Let's inhale, arms overhead. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, floating open. And then stepping the left leg back into lunge. Sink your hips low as you lift your chest high. Dropping the back knee to the floor. Inhale, bringing the hands overhead. And then bringing the hands down to the heart. Hold here, breathe. So this time twisting to the right first, bringing the right elbow back, left elbow forward. Inhale to the center, twist to the left, left elbow back, right elbow forward. Inhale to the center. Release the hands down, stepping the knee back into tabletop. Check your alignment. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat. Tucking toes, lifting up, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Looking between the hands, coming forward into flat back, opening up the heart. And exhale to forward fold. Soften that neck. Lift the shoulders slightly away from the ears to elongate. Let's inhale, floating all the way back up. And exhaling, hands down at the heart. Take a moment here to breathe. On the inhale breath, take your hands up. And then opening the elbows out into cactus. Lift the chest without lifting the rib cage. Let's bring the hands behind, interlocking fingers, and rolling the shoulder blades together. As you exhale, start to drop the chin to the chest. Very softly now, don't overexert into the back of the neck. Feel as though the shoulders are pulling down away from the ears. The ears this time not moving away from the shoulders. Keep us in a single direction. Breathe into drawing the shoulder blades a little bit closer together. From here, start to soften the knees as you forward fold and take the arms over the back of the skull. Keep the weight on the front of your feet, light on your heels, and then dropping the hands down to the mat. We're going to step back with the left leg into warrior one. So square the hips back, heel to the floor, and float the arms up to the sky. Adjust your alignment however you need to. You want the hips square and both heels on the floor. Lift up out of the lower back. If you have shoulder issues, make your arms wider or even bring the hands at the heart. On the inhale breath, we're going to bring the hands behind and hold on to opposite elbows, forearms or wrists. Square the front leg and the hips opening up through the heart. And then forward folding halfway down. Push your right hip back. Reach your left hip forward. If you have a regular practice, you can forward fold over the shin. If you are looking for a more gentle class, then stay at the halfway lift. Breathe into the space. Going to now release the hands down to the floor and step yourself back into downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here. Floating the right leg up to the sky, lifting it as high as you can. Reach the toes away from the fingers and then push the fingers into the floor to help lift that leg a little bit higher. Let's bend into the top knee, coming into a standing scorpion. And here you're going to gaze underneath the right arm. Make sure the neck is soft. Relax into the sternocleidomastoids. Let's inhale to square the leg again, and then exhale to hug the knee forward to your face to your knee, look between the hands, and step the foot into lunge. Keeping your left hand down, let's take the right arm up. Become light into the front hand, and I'll start to sink your back knee down and lift your front arm up so that you are twisting to the right side. Bring the back hand to the back thigh. Turn the gaze forward and start to lift into your left arm, leaning gently back. Slide the hips down. Make sure there's no tension in the neck, no tension in the shoulders. From here, cartwheel the hands back up and over to the mat, lifting the back knee off the floor, and inhale forward into flat back. Extend your head forward, reach your tailbone back. You're now going to either bring the hands behind the ankles or interlock around the big toes, depending on how long your hamstrings are. Reach your head forward, and then exhale to soften the torso down. Every inhale lifts energy up the back of the legs, and every exhale reaches energy down the back of the spine. Become aware what's happening with your neck, what's happening with your shoulders. Are you gripping your jaw tight? On your inhale breath, lift halfway up. Reach the head away from the hips, and I need to bend your knees and lift the arms into chair pose. Remember, if you have shoulder issues, bring the hands together at the heart and not overhead. One more deep breath, and then let's stand all the way back up, bringing hands together at the heart. Take a moment to breathe here. On the inhale, float the arms up. And then open your elbows out into cactus. Going a little bit deeper now by turning the elbows forward and the palms flat up to the sky. At the same time, get the triangle of the shoulder blades into the spine. Let's draw the hands behind, different finger on top for balance. And then roll the shoulder blades tightly together as you extend the arms away. So for some of you, the elbows won't be straight. For others, the hands won't be clasped completely. It's fine. Just find a space that works. Soften the chin down to the chest. And now no tension in the neck. We're focusing on the upper back. So we're not pulling the neck muscles. We're working into the traps. Soften your body completely as you forward fold, allowing the arms to hang over the back body. Knees can be gently bent, and really work on relaxing that neck. Let's drop the hands down to the floor, and this time stepping the right leg back into warrior one. So drop the back heel, square the hips, and then float the arms up to the sky into your warrior one. Arms can be wide, they can also be at the heart. See what feels better for you. Slide your back heel down as you sink the front knee, and then open up through the lower back. Let's bring the hands behind again, holding onto wrists, elbows, or forearms, and then switch the hands around so the opposite arm is on top. Let's work into opening that front body as you straighten the leg. Inhale, and then exhale halfway down into Parsvattanasana. Squeeze the inner thighs, reach your left hip back, your right hip forward. If you've got this space, you're welcome to forward fold deeper. Otherwise, hold your halfway lift. From here, we're going to release the hands back to the floor and make your way into downward facing dog. Lift your hips, open up the shoulders, soften the neck. Your knees are welcome to be bent in down dog or straight, whatever works better with your spine. Let's float the left leg up to the sky and lifting your leg as high as you can, working on both length and height. Turn your gaze underneath your left arm, bending into your top knee, into your standing scorpion. Keep finding that openness into the neck and shoulders. And then you're going to inhale, square off the hips. Exhale, knee to face, face to knee, rounding the upper back. Place the foot between the hands into lunge. Reach your head forward, reach your tailbone back. Keeping the right hand to the floor, let's take the left arm up into easy twist. Work from heel to head. And then you're going to start to pivot the body weight now. So as you bring the back knee down, you start to pivot the weight of the torso up, reaching the right arm forward. Throw in a nice deep twist here. Turn your gaze over your front hand, bringing the back hand towards the thigh and the top arm up towards the sky. Check in with your neck. What's happening? Are you in a neutral position? From here, let's cartwheel the hands back down to the mat. Lifting the back knee off the floor. Inhale to step forward, flat back. Reach the head forward, reach the tailbone away. Again, you can hold the back of the ankles, interlock the fingers around the big toes, or come into Tadahastasana by stepping either onto the fingertips or all the way onto the palms. Let's inhale the head forward, and then exhale to forward fold. Check in what's happening with the neck, what's happening with the shoulders. Are you creating neutrality and space, or are you creating tension? On your inhale breath, lifting back up, release the fingers from whatever your clasp is, reaching the head forward, and then let's take this into chair pose, bending the knees, floating the arms up, bring the hands at the heart for shoulder issues, or overhead if the shoulders are okay. Squeeze those inner thighs, sit a little bit lower, and then inhale all the way up to stand. Hands together at the heart. Take a moment to breathe here. Let's inhale, float the arms back up. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Taking the left leg back into warrior two. So you're going to turn your toes to face outwardly, front heel lines up with the arch of the back foot. Lifting up left arm, followed by right, into warrior two, Virabhadasana B. Slide the thighs away from one another and keep your front knee opening wide. When you look down, you should see your big toe to the inner line of your front thigh. We're going to take this into what's known as vamping, really good for TMJ issues. You're going to take your left hand behind your head and then lightly press your head back against the hand as you turn the gaze over the right fingers. From here, start to turn the right hand slightly away. Don't overextend the neck. Keep following with your eyes. Inhale back to the center, straighten the back arm again, and then coming into reclining warrior, lifting the arm, lifting the gaze. Soften those shoulders, make sure the neck is in a neutral space. Let's inhale, coming back into warrior two, and straighten into the front leg. Heel, toe, the back foot, one space in, and then reaching forward for triangle. Bringing your hand to your shin, your top arm up to the sky. Rotate into the rib cage. Now, triangle can cause a lot of tension into the upper neck if you're not in the correct alignment. So focus the activation of the pose into the torso and not into the neck. Let's inhale to lift back up, and now coming into reclining triangle. Floating the front arm up and over, and reach from skull to toe. Inhale into a neutral space, rebending the front knee, and then cartwheeling your hands down to the mat, stepping into downward facing dog. Breathe into your down dog. And now open your feet as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out at a 45 degree, and we're going to walk back into a squat. So you're walking your hands back as you tuck your tailbone down and bring the hands together at the heart. Open the knees out wide. Expand into the front body. And hold here for a moment. So in your squat, you might need to bring your rolled up mat underneath your heels if your heels don't touch comfortably. And always open your feet out a bit wider if that feels better. Let's come back into our downward facing dog. So hands to the mat. Walk your hands forward as you turn the toes parallel and hip distance wide. Making your way to the front of the mat, walking into flat back, and exhale to forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. Take it straight back down into forward fold. And this time stepping the right foot back into warrior two. So bring your front heel to line up with the arch of the back foot. Let's float the arms up and keeping the gaze to the front left hand. Open the inner thighs. Press the feet evenly away from one another. Bringing the right hand now to the back of the skull, and then push your head lightly against your hand and feel the activation of those neck muscles. Keep the gaze on your front fingertips and start to move the fingers slightly back. Not too far, don't overexert. Find the space that works for you. Let's inhale back to the center, straighten the arms, and then straighten the front leg as well. One heel, one toe of the back foot. Reach forward, hand to shin, top arm up to the sky. Check in with your neck, check in with your shoulders, and then use the torso to twist open. It's inhale to lift back up, reclining triangle. And then back into neutral space, rebend the front knee, cartwheel hands down, and stepping back into a downward facing dog. From down dog, you're going to drop the knees to the floor, and then you can choose to either sit on your heels or sit into a cross-leg position. This really depends on what's happening with your knees and your ankles. Or whatever you do, you want to come and sit into a comfortable space. So working now into a Simhasana variation. So this is the lion's breath variation. So for those of you who've done lion's breath before, you know it's the forceful exhale, sticking your tongue out to try and touch your chin. So working into this wide mouth space to work into TMJ release. So following instructions here, we're going to inhale the chin to the chest. And then exhale Simhasana. Slowly lifting the jaw back into neutral space. So let's do that all together. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, tongue out as you lift your face back into neutral space. And then again, inhale, chin to chest. Simhasana to the right. Inhale, back to chin, chin to chest. Simhasana to the left. Inhale, chin back to chest. And then relax your jaw completely. Soften the jaw completely. Let it feel like it's really hanging, like an octopus. Draw the shoulders slightly back. Really relax that jaw. And then inhale, lifting back to center. Try now to maintain that soft sensation that's happening around the jaw. You're going to bring your legs out in front of you and make your way to lie down on the mat. If you feel up to it, you're going to do a core roll down. Otherwise, just lie straight onto the floor. Take both knees into the chest. And then bringing the left foot to the floor, take your right leg to the sky. Depending on the length of the hamstring, you can either hold the back of the thigh, hold the back of the calf or ankle, or if you've got the space, you can interlock your fingers around your big toe. Either of these alignments is fine. Now flatten your lower back against the floor and kick the heel away. If you find that this is enough for you and you'd like to stay here working on the hamstring, you can do that. If you'd like to now straighten the opposite leg and kick the bottom heel away as well, you can do that. You also have a third option of now drawing your forehead towards your knee, reaching your left fingers towards your left toes. Remember to create space in the neck, so wherever you are, be mindful of what you're doing with your neck. Let's take it down to the mat. You're going to bring the left hand to hold the outer edge of the foot, the outer shin or outer thigh, right arm away, and draw the leg down to the side. Not all the way, just halfway. Engage into glutes, engage into the outer edge of the leg. And then you're going to soften yourself into as deep a twist as you can comfortably manage. You can turn your gaze to your foot, to the sky, or even overhead. The alignment of the neck doesn't deepen the pose. It's very personal and what works with the release of your body. There's no right or wrong alignment of the neck as long as you feel comfortable. You're going to bring your leg back up to the sky and then point the toes, bring the hands flat to the floor, lower the belly and lower back to the mat, and just very slowly bring the leg to the floor. Make sure your shoulders are soft, make sure your jaw is soft. Activation into core muscles. No tension as you lower all the way back down. Taking both knees into the chest. And then bringing the right foot to the mat and taking the left leg to the sky. Holding the back of the thigh, the back of the calf, the back of the ankle, or interlocking into yogic toe lock. Press your lower back flat. Kick your heel away. Hold here. Remember to soften the shoulder. If you'd like to, you can straighten the right leg as well. And then you activate into that right leg. You can hold there, or you can start to lift your forehead towards your knee, reaching the right fingers towards the toes. No tension as you lift up. So the core is lifting you up, not your neck, not your shoulders. You're activating the lower torso to lift the upper. Slowly come back down. Switching the hands, so the right hand holds anywhere to the outer leg. Left arm to the side. Come halfway down. Hold into the glute stretch to begin. And then when you're ready, you can come all the way down into as deep a twist as feels comfortable for you to go. Let go of the need to try and push yourself deeper. We are practicing ahimsa at all times. Ahimsa meaning non-violence. And if we treat our bodies with violence, trying to push deeper, go further, hit harder, then we are missing out on a lot of the benefits of our practice. Working with body acceptance creates a freedom in the pose, so that no matter how deep you go, you always feel free. Let's come back up to the center. You're going to point the toes, bring the hands down, flatten into the lower back, engage into the lower belly, and very slowly lower the leg. Soft shoulders, soft jaw, soft neck, no tension at all. And releasing all the way down. Knees to chest. We're going to work into our Shavasana now. So I'd like you to get your rolled up mat. And again, placing the rolled up mat to the back edge of your mat. You're now going to lie the mat underneath your skull. So it's not under the back, but under the head. So if you have a very thick mat, you might want to unroll it a little bit so it's not too thick. A rolled up towel is also perfect. You just want to lift the head ever so slightly. So come to lie down and then open your feet as wide as your mat, lengthening into the lower back. Make sure the hips are spacious and square. And then you bring the mat underneath the protruding part of the back of the skull, so that your chin is just very slightly pressed down to the chest and the back of the neck is slightly lifted. You're now going to bring your right hand, use the heel of the hand against your right temple, and then actively push into your right temple, and then relax. Left hand, push into the temple, and then relax. Either hand pushes into this forehead between the eyebrows. And then bring your hand down to your jaw. You're going to now press your thumb against the lower chin and push your thumb into your jaw as you push your jaw into your thumb. And then relax. Now hook your pointer finger over the upper end of your chin, so into the chin crease. Keep your thumb pressed into the bottom and start to resist, pulling your chin down as your jaw tries to lift back up. Remember to be gentle. And then release. Taking 2 middle fingers on both sides and then a nice massage into the jaw. You can move the massage around according to where you feel the tension. It's a little bit different for each of us. And then working into the cheekbone, use your thumb and press underneath the cheekbone. Little press and shift. Press and shift. Press and shift. And try to get that thumb right under the bone. Almost as if you could slip underneath your zygomatic arch. And then you work your way back up towards the TMJ again. You can do that as many times as you feel is helpful. Sometimes we have more tension and we need a double row. Other days it feels not so bad and one is okay. And then once you feel that you are ready, you're going to release your hands down next to the hips, softly closing your eyes. If you prefer to move your rolled up mat away from your skull, you can, but I encourage you to utilize it for Shavasana today. Allowing your body now to melt. Connecting into that lovely warm sensation that comes with the activation of the cardiovascular system. Pumping nutrient-rich, warm blood throughout your body. Feeding each and every cell. Removing toxins from the whole body. Bringing a sense of release, of comfort, and an overall sense of well-being. Very slowly start to deepen and lengthen your breath. Feeling your belly rise and fall. Gently running your thumb over the tips of your fingers. Moving your toes, ankles, and wrists. Coming into a full body stretch, reaching the legs down the mat and the arms overhead. Yawning or sighing. Bending your knees. And then rolling over onto your side. You can keep your head resting onto your mat if that feels comfortable. And keeping your eyes closed as you lift your way up into a comfortable seated space. Find that neutral spine. Back of the skull in line with the base of the tailbone. Soft neck, soft shoulders, soft jaw. Bringing hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra. We'll close the class by chanting Om once and Shanti 3 times. Taking a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raising your hands to your third eye. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Lowering your hands to your lips, to your heart, to your mat. Bowing forward in recognition of your practice. Blinking eyes open. Inhaling to lift. Namaste.